So thank you very much, Francesca, for joining us for this interview. It's always a
Thank
pleasure.
You guys for interviewing me.
And thanks everybody who is joining in and watching us and sending hearts and waving to us. So hello, everybody.
Laura!
A lot of people you know, probably.
Yeah, people I know, like for my private life. Now I'm getting embarrassed. They really know me.
Well, maybe you cannot see all the people you normally would like to see in this current situation. So this is maybe an opportunity for people to still get in touch with you. So
yeah, exactly.
So Francesca, we are Kurt and Amsterdam, so we're the founders of Smell Stories, niche perfumery in Brussels. And today we talk with Francesca, who probably everybody knows who is following us. But just to give a short introduction, you have launched your own perfume brand, Francesca Bianchi, in 2016. You are originally from Tuscany, if I'm correct, but you live in Amsterdam. For how long already?
10 years, almost.
10 years. Okay. Yeah. And you recently moved to another place, you know?
Yeah. It's just 1 month. So we moved the house and the laboratory all together in a bigger place. So I'm not. I'm a bit scared to show you around because I don't know. Like I can find a corpse. Or strange things. So I better keep in this frame, keep myself in this frame.
Okay, good. Because you have a very big perfume collection, so you collect perfumes as well. You don't only create.
Yes, that collection is in my bedroom. It's not here. Yeah, this is where I work, so you can see. So I have a lot of vials like this, and then. In this other part, there's the stock. So like when you order, and I prepare the boxes and I ship. So this is where I really work more practically. But I decided to showcase my collection and to keep it in my bedroom. So also my boyfriend could benefit from it. So I'm trying to convert my boyfriend. It's not easy. But and I'm very surprised that this morning he was wearing like Putain de Palace by Calibro d'Orange, and he surprised me. So a pretty good education.
So you very often wear perfumes that you didn't create yourself then? Or?
Yeah, I'm mostly wearing someone else's perfume.
Okay, and why is that?
But because I am always overwhelmed by my perfumes because I create them, and also the process of creation is so long that when it's finished, it's like, okay, I'm done with you now. Just go with the other people. And but also, like for me, I like perfume as an experience, as a personal experience, and I'm a perfume collector before being a perfume composer.
Okay,
we can say so. And I really like discovering new perfumes all the time, but not only the new releases, but also I have a small collection of vintage, and I have the big classic of perfumery. I like everything, even a cheap one can raise my interest. So I'm just curious and to find something sparkling that raise an emotion in you.
Okay, well, some of your top 2 perfumes that you have that you have for yourself.
Top 2. I mean, I have like 300 or more pieces. So it's very. I can tell you. Oh, maybe I did a post yesterday saying these are like. I can't say. I love them. There are many that I really love. I'm like recently I was wearing Chinatown Bond number 9. I love Arbole by Hiram Green.
Okay, me too. Just see if we still have the connection.
Oh yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, you're there. So after Chinatown, I mentioned Hiram Green's Arbolé, which I really love, and my boyfriend stole it to me, so now I can't wear it anymore. And also Gullivan Istanbul is one of my favorites recently. Okay. Also, that one is hidden in my boyfriend's secret place. And it's there are really many, and now I'm just thinking of also because I'm friend of them, of Nick and Hiram, but I really appreciate their art very much.
Yeah, because Arbolé is a patchouli fragrance, and you also last year released another patchouli fragrance, which is Stick Fingers, which is completely different. So it has the same main note, I would say, but it's a very different approach. So you have very different style than Hiram.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering, if you live in Amsterdam for 10 years, do you speak Dutch?
Absolutely no. I mean, I know a little, but don't try me. Because now I'm also scared because my daughter, she will turn 4 in 3 weeks, so she will be going to school, and it will be a super Dutch school. We are the first fully expat couple, so I feel the responsibility of learning Dutch now. I mean, I can go to the groceries and things like that. I can survive, but because I speak a bit of German, I used to speak German, so I can pick some context. But no, I always speak English.
Okay. And do you eat Dutch dishes, or do you always cook Italian? Or I don't know if you cook yourself. But...
Well, actually, I am lucky that since Corona started, my boyfriend started to cook, and he's always cooking. So I don't cook, and of course we cook Italian.
Okay.
So no offense to Dutch cuisine.
Okay. And would you say that your creations, your perfume creations, would you say that they have an Italian touch to it, or are there something typically Italian about it, or is
it? I cannot say that because, but I have been mentioned in a book recently about the great history. It's a book about the story of Italian perfumery. It's
a copy.
Exactly. If you go on that book, I mean, I'm not an Italian brand because I'm based in the Netherlands. But the author knows my creation, so she mentioned me because I'm Italian as a person, as a creator, and she has this, and she speak about a lot of things. But the thing that puts together the Italian style in perfumery is maybe this sense of texture, of materiality, of sensuality, and which is maybe not the style of big French perfumery, which is a little bit more transparent. But I mean, just a few ideas is not, of course, the only concept of the book. So maybe you can say that about my style, but I have never thought about that. I mean,
yeah. But anyway, if you would describe your style, because all your perfumes are totally different, but they all have the same sexy, sensual, deep, complex vibe about it. So you really have found your own signature, I would say. How would you describe it?
So in terms of description, I would use the word intimacy, sensuality, intensity, like as ideas also that inspires me, no? And the sense of humanity, the need to get in touch with your inner reality. And although it's true that in the reviews they stress more the sensuality, how daring they are, which is true, but it's also, for me, it's I want to get closer to humanity, and the people who wears my perfumes, they have to feel good with themselves, meaning to accept their body, to accept themselves in a way, and to feel good with themselves. And I'm not saying this randomly. I'm saying that because I got conscious about how many people who wrote me or mailed me saying that they were struggling, like also with psychological issues, and using my perfumes made them feel better, like when they had an anxiety attack, something like that. And so I got more and more into this and trying to understand what happened. I have no explanation, but I like this idea that it's not just about the sensuality, it's also about feeling a connection with yourself.
Okay, yeah, we got the feedback last week from a customer who bought one of the perfume, I think it was Lover's Tale, and she wears it when she has to go to an exam, because she feels really confident, and it gives her power to face the professor in front of her.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I also had a friend who had a really panic attack. She told me, like, I'm just smelling the Lover's Tale like a medicine, and I feel better.
Yeah.
Crazy, no?
Yeah, it's still a bit of a mystery how it all works and how it affects our personality, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. What I was wondering, you started your own brand in 2016. You launched 3 perfumes at the same time, I think. The Angel's Dust, the
Sex and the Sea, and Dark Side. Yeah.
So I was wondering how, when you launched them, you have been working on those perfumes for a long time, probably already. When did you really? What was the process between, let's say, I will launch my brand and the actual launch? How long was the time, or what?
I have a very vague recollection of that time, so it's difficult to give a timeline of what happened. I can tell you that 2 years back, like maybe in 2014, I really set my mind to trying to do something real. Okay, I was experimenting already since a long time. I had a collection of essential oils, things like that, but just for fun. And then I think in 2014 I accessed materials that I could buy from professional suppliers. So that also opened me the door to many possibilities. And then what happened? I had a previous job, and I had also, for healthy reason, let's say, to slow down with the previous job. And that was finally the opportunity to have more time to focus on this. And so finally I had many experiments going on, and I picked these 3, which I liked, and I said, okay, these are nice. Let's try to bring them to a final formula. And this is what happened. But I started just with no business plan, no expectation. I was pregnant, by the way, so it was just a trial. And I prepared just, at the time I was preparing everything at home, meaning I was buying the raw materials, mixing at home, filtering at home, and also filling the bottles. And so it was just easy. It was 100 pieces per reference, so the 3 of them. And but they went pretty well, almost from the beginning. And after several months, I had to prepare the second batch. And so I started to get organized at that point. And then the year after, I had to outsource production because I couldn't handle it on my own anymore. And and this is how it started.
Okay. So, and then I imagine you have your 3 perfumes. You say, okay, I will launch them. Nobody knows you at that moment. You don't have a budget to do big marketing campaigns, probably.
Absolutely.
So how do people discover your perfumes? And is social media very important for you?
Yes, social media were very important. I have to say I was very lucky because even before the perfumes were ready, I sent samples to Luca Turin. And at that time, Luca Turin was holding his blog Perfumes I Love. Then he stopped with the blog, and he did a 4 stars review to Angel Dust.
Okay.
And I realized he didn't write to me anything. I mean, he just do his stuff. And I realized that because I started to receive emails especially from American people, asking me about angel's dust. And I was, what the hell is happening? And so I asked, and they said, but Luca Turin did a review about your. I was what? So, and that was already something very important because everybody was reading the blog. Many people were reading the blog, and then I went to PT later, after 3 months. So I got in touch with the people of Fragrantica. Some bloggers contacted me, people with whom I'm still in touch because I'm very thankful and grateful to the people who supported me since the beginning. Because now it's like I'm overwhelmed by blogger. Like every day I receive at least 3-4 requests of collaborations. I don't do collaborations. I just if I know someone and we have a click and they know my brand, they like what I do, and they know in which terms to present my brand. That's fine, but I'm not doing collaboration just because someone has a nice Instagram. And but at that time, some people who were like, no, it's true because there are also many very good Instagrammers that have a fantastic style life oriented Instagram, but this is not my public. Our public are people who are into perfumery, niche perfumery. They don't care about watches, cars, or they just want to see perfumes. No, that's it. So and so at that time, I got to know some people that did some article, and then especially Fragrantica, of course, is important because when you enter the database of Fragrantica, when some of the people of the seniors of Fragrantica are interested, I had a good connection with Miguel Matos and Sergei Borisov, which are two among the outstanding editors, and every time I send them samples, of course, because not just because I want them to review. I know that they might like them, and we have a nice exchange of thoughts.
So even though you're a self-taught perfumer, and I always imagine the perfume world as quite small and closed, did they accept you very quickly? Because I can imagine that maybe other perfumers or other noses would say, oh, she's just making her own creations, but you didn't follow the courses to create perfumes. Was there any, I don't know,
what can I say? The final, what really matters is the final result. So, okay, I don't want to brag, so I'm not mentioning any names. So, but there has been perfumers that I have famous perfumers, let's say, passing through my stand at PT, and they were sniffing my stuff. I didn't know. I couldn't recognize them, but I know the name. So when they introduced themselves, I know who they were, and they complimented without me asking. It's like they were just they are doing the stuff and they just said. I remember one of them saying, "It smells so rich, so expensive. It looks like it's full of natural, and it's so nice." That's it. I mean, then. You can ask me anything. Maybe I don't know many technical answer, but what really matters is how the perfume smells, the performance of, like also technically means. You just judge from the perfume, and you judge if I do correctly the composition of it, the development of the perfume. If there are any holes also in the in the dry down. What happened in the dry down? Is it still interesting, or is just a mess, or how is it open? I mean, this if the technical questions are answered, that's my problem. How I achieve it.
Okay. maybe let's talk about your latest creation. That's the
sorry, but I want to say that it's true that I didn't have any technical course, etc. But I have studied many books. I mean,
I know.
Of course, I mean, it's not just that I wake up in the morning and I start stuff. There are many technical things that you can also learn from books and from experience. The only thing that I really one of the biggest things that I miss as a self-taught is not having a teacher correcting me. That's really something a plus that someone doing a school has, because you have someone who guides you. So if someone is listening and would like to become a perfumer, I would recommend to go to the school.
Okay. That would have been my next question. So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to also to create his or her own perfume?
Of course, if you are young and you have the time and the support of your parents, Izika probably is the most renowned school. But I couldn't go to Izika because when I started with thinking about my dream, I was already, I can't say the age because then okay, I was already grown up, and I was about giving. I had to, give to have a child. I had already responsibility. I couldn't just say I stop and I go to Paris. Okay, so I had to find another way. Otherwise, if I had been free, probably if I had been single and whatever with a little budget on the side, I would have also thought to.
Okay. Okay. Maybe let's talk about. Well, we're talking about perfume the whole time, but maybe let's talk about your latest creation, which is Tiger.
Yeah. Let me spray it.
Yeah, you do the same.
Drinking 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
And try to spray far from my teeth. Because once I sprayed where I was drinking. Not nice.
And they are very powerful, so you have to be careful too. So this opens, so this really opens up with it's kind of juicy, yummy. It's a yummy fragrance, It's with the flowers and the honey and the.
It's very yummy in the beginning, and then the dry down it becomes the second part, like the other soul of it. So it's more woody, a little bit smoky with this wood like note, which contrasts with this more edible tuberose in a way. And I use tuberose here, but I'm not a big fan of tuberose, meaning I like tuberose, but I don't enjoy very much the classical way of tuberose, like Paca, for instance, or like the big tuberose. Although I liked Poison Dior, so I wanted to make my own tuberose without being obvious. And some people perceive tuberose a lot. Some other people they just don't get it.
It's really integrated in a different story, I would say.
It's very much integrated, but this is what I wanted to do. It's not a tuberose centered. Tuberose is there, but it contributes to the whole picture.
Exactly. And what was the inspiration behind it?
The inspiration behind it. So Tiger was finally coming from The Tiger by William Blake, this poem which talks about, it has of course a religious meaning, and it's a very intense poem, but mostly for me it represented this dichotomy which has the tiger, so it's extremely beauty, like sublimely beauty from one side, but it's also extremely dangerous from the other. And so it's very mesmerizing. So the tuberose is mesmerizing, in my opinion, and I try to add some other molecules in order to enhance this quality of tuberose. And from the other side, you have the darkness, the fearfulness of the situation, which is embodied by wood and the other wood and other woods and other molecules, also osmos that I use in the base. And an idea that I had in mind, actually, it was a kind of a Mad Max scenario, so a post-apocalyptic situation where everything is dark, everything is destroyed. It's like a post-apocalyptic scenario, but then you have some remains of the ancient civilization. So tuberose is like a beautiful lady dressed in silk, coming up in a Mad Max scenario, something like that. I don't know why I like this contrast, and I had this, I was obsessed by it. And so finally I came up with this name, which also captured this dichotomy.
Yeah, okay. And I watched the list of notes, and I think that, well, the perfumes are a lot more complex than the list of notes that you mentioned.
Yeah. Of course, I never reread my list of notes. I have just to pick some notes that I think are really representative, and I also call a friend who is a very expert in notes, and I give him the list of notes, and I choose together with him what people are really smelling, because it's pointless that I add a note that I know I put inside, but nobody is going to smell. It contributes to the final result, but it's not relevant for people. So I try to create a pyramid that can really guide people to get closer to them.
Yeah, okay. But if you look at the list of notes, this is your only perfume that doesn't list the orris, because I think you're a huge fan to use orris butter in perfumes. No?
I use the orris butter also here. The only thing, I always use it. The only thing is probably it's not so relevant to say that, so I decided not to list it.
Okay.
Because I think it's not like a prominent quality. And I prefer to highlight this white flower rather than the powdery part.
Yeah, I think the orris is more prominent in the angel's dust, I would say. No?
Absolutely, absolutely. And if I may say, also in Under My Skin, I used a lot of orris butter, and what gives the special feeling of softness, I think. But it's like, as I said, I use it almost everywhere. So I don't even know if there's a perfume where I haven't used it.
Okay. And the orris butter that you use is the real orris butter, so the natural orris butter, which is so extremely expensive, I would say.
It's extremely expensive. I don't overload it, of course, but it gives a very special softness, herbaceous also, because I don't know if you have ever had the chance to smell it, but it doesn't smell like a flower. It smells more like something earthy, something waxy. It comes from the root, from the rhizoma. So it's not like petals. It's more like something that stays under the ground.
And has to dry for, I read that it has to dry for 3 or more years before.
Yeah, exactly. It dries 3 years, and then after they can treat because the iron, which is responsible for that very smell, can grow, can develop or something like that. And it's also very expensive for that, for the process and for the how much you get out of the initial material.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So is this something that you keep in mind when you create a perfume? Because you use very expensive ingredients in most of your creations, and still they are always the same price. So,
no, I try. Of course, there are formulas that cost more than the other, and formulas that cost less. But just you know, I try. To me, it's pointless to make a big difference from one perfume to another, because then, of course, you have the formula plus all the other part. So the initial quality gets thinner if you add all the other elements. So all the perfume has very expensive elements like the glass, the bottle, the glass, the box, the thing, many things all together. And the only difference is the concentrate price. Then I dilute it, so the difference gets smaller. So at the end of the day, all included, it was not such a relevant difference to make it more complicated also for my business. To say, okay, this costs this costs that, and I prefer to keep the same price. I will lose a little bit on something and gain a little bit more on something else.
Okay, yeah. So is the Oris then the most expensive note that you have used in perfume, or what is one of the most expensive that you could put in perfume?
I think so far, yes, because it's really one of the most expensive that I also have here, but I still continue using it. I think I'm working on a new, but it's something new that could be released maybe next year. I'm working with a flower which is the champaka, which is also very expensive, but it like also always butter depends also on the concentration of iron. So I think it's still one of the most expensive that I'm still doing.
There were questions about coming in from people who are watching us that were asking you about your new scent, the new fragrance, but I think you always get the question.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything.
You just released Tiger, so I think people should explore this one first.
Yeah, we should explore this one first. Of course, the fact, like I think today there was my assistant that took a video because I was working on something new. But the thing is that I'm always working on something. I mean,
probably. Yeah.
First thing, I'm a workaholic. So it's just that I can't stop thinking about things to do, etc. So I have full of experiments here, and I have like 3-4 that I really like and I'm really focused on. And that's one specifically that is a bit different from my usual range that I would like to release. It's not yet finished, but when the formula, I will be okay with the formula, then it starts a long process, which means check if IFRA is okay, then check with the supplier, is the price affordable or I'm going to become poor, and all these things. Then I have to launch production, which is like producing the concentrate, having it sent to Milan where my manufacturer is, and then and then the package. So I'm not yet ready with the formula, so don't expect it anytime soon, but it will arrive.
We also have some Italian people online who are asking if you could say something in Italian to them. We don't speak Italian, so sorry for that.
Certo, possiamo parlare italiano, ma io credo che ora, a parte gli italiani, rideranno perché parlo toscano, quindi. So I was just saying that many, I don't know who are the Italian watching, because I don't really see.
It was a question.
We understand it.
But my Italian is, I come from Tuscany, so I have the accent of from Florence. So,
so for instance, if you say I release a new perfume, so one of the last ones was the Tiger or Sticky Fingers. If you say we go into production, how do I have to understand that? Is it like 1,000 bottles that are produced at the same time, or is it more, or is it 10,000 bottles, or?
No, when I go to production, I'm always very careful. So I think I will produce like 1,000 bottles.
Okay.
And to be on the safe side, but I could even start to do more because the brand is increasing, and it's also that I'm finding retailers in new countries like in Asia. So even if I'm selling the same in Europe, I'm expanding in other countries. So I should consider that, and maybe I could produce more than 1,000. But 1,000 is safe, and I will. I like to play safe. So there's no, and I don't have enough space for
Yeah, and the brand is it was only launched in 2016, which is not that long ago. If you see that you have 11 perfumes, you're growing, expanding, you have wonderful reviews. Is there in your head something like this is the limit? Because now you work mainly on your own. I think at a certain moment, maybe it could become too big to just handle by yourself, or is it something?
Now I have an assistant now.
Yeah, I know. I got an email from her.
I have an assistant, and I have to say that also my partner is helping me. I mean, he's not really helping. He's
cooking for you already. So that's
sorry.
He's cooking for you. Yeah, that's also...
No. I mean, he works. He's an IT guy who has always worked in business intelligence. So he's increasing the visibility online. So basically, he's not helping me to do what I have to do. He's just increasing my business, making my life more complicated. He's not really helping. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on how you look on things.
Depends how you look. So it depends. If things are getting bigger, I don't know. I have also asked myself what I'm going to do, because the fact is I like to create new stuff. So I don't want to stop. I have also a new brand, but I like coming. So you will know more when I have something to show. It's a brand connected to leather accessories, and they come also with a perfume. So I will present, of course, to you guys as soon as I have more material to show, because I'm waiting for the final prototypes and also the bottle. So this could be a way for me to, to put my creativity and like have the Francesca Bianchi perfumes line not growing like mad, in a mad way. Another thing that people do in these cases is like to kill some like the least sold. But I don't like to do that.
Killing a baby almost, no?
Yeah, I like baby, and like I don't know if I can say which is the one which is selling less, because it's still selling good.
Okay.
So it's like, why would I kill it? I mean, for me,
we have different people going to different perfumes, so it's not like we can say this is our bestseller, or
you can't believe which is the least sold, the least sold. It was also for me a surprise.
Okay.
And I can tell you, like the best sold in this moment are, of course, Tiger, but that's normal because normally it's the new thing. And the second is Sticky Fingers, and then Under My Skin.
Yeah, Under My Skin is one of our best sellers as well. Yeah, Under My Skin, the dark side as well. And the Lover's Tale, because for me that's the most surprising perfume. I didn't expect that this would have been such a big seller a good seller in our store.
Work is the same,
Yeah, because
same stuff here.
Yeah, it's quite difficult, complex, very sensual, but also
it's true. I also like the first year it was not a good seller, and I was expecting that because it's very complex. But from a certain moment, there has been a click, and people have started to appreciate it, and now it's not the best. But it's among the first 5, I think. Now I don't remember because it varies. And also, like I have my top, my list is a little bit strange because it puts together all the word, meaning customers from US, customer from Saudi Arabia, customer from Vietnam. So every country, every culture has also different tastes. So it doesn't really say anything. It says that some perfumes work very well in one country and some other, you know. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question about two other perfumes, the Lost in Heaven and the Etruscan Water, because these ones you launched under the name Freefall, and I never really understood what the difference was.
Yeah,
the collection.
I have to say, I mean, I wanted to create a separate line.
Yeah.
Not that I wanted, like a priori. I wanted because when I created Etruscan Water, I felt that it was a little bit different from my usual range at that time, because it came right after the Lover's Tale. So I thought I had to find a different context for Etruscan Water, and that's why I created this Freefall idea, which should give the idea of something a little bit lighter and relaxed and easier. And then I put into it Lost in Heaven, which actually, because in my idea it was lighter, but then it turned out not to be that light. It was my imagination, but then I was like, oh, that's a bomb like the other one. Sorry. And then I can say something about the new one I'm working on. This one for sure will be in the Freefall.
Okay. Another scoop.
That will be on the Freefall, and yeah.
Okay. So you just said that you're a workaholic, and I really feel that as well. How does a day in the life of Francesca Bianchi look like? Do you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and start working already, or
no? No, I have a baby. I have children. So Ginevra, my child, she's ruling my whole life, of course. So I'm completely submitted to her and to her will. So we wake up. I wake up at 7. I stay with Agony until 7:30 in bed. Then I wake up. I try to do makeup, etc. Feed my child, and then rush to the childcare to bring her. So more or less at 9 I start working. And at 1, and I do several things, like a lot of different things. I can, if I have an easy moment, I work on the creations. Otherwise, we have the fulfillment to do, so the preparing boxes, adding the orders, then replying to mails. I have many mails to reply to, and customer care is also like very important, and there's always something to do with when you ship an order. And relationship with suppliers, like my suppliers are like very important partners. Like
yes, of course.
You are my important partner in Brussels, and it's like you are my extension in your country. So I have to count on you. But also the people, and although you are my client, also like a supplier are as important, because if you lose a supplier, that's a mess. So for me, relationship with my good suppliers, we speak to each other every day, many times per day. Because there's always something going on. There's a part of the production that has an issue, so we have to discuss how to solve it, or like there's an emergency because I have a big order to fulfill and they have to send me something, and we try. I know the schedule, the timetable of the delivery guy. I mean, it's like this kind of life, but you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. And then when when there's no emergency, I try to just to work on the creation. So to go on, and I try to work very slowly on creations, because I don't like to give me rush on, like to make many experiments moment of madness, I prefer to think carefully before doing.
Yeah, but you have to reserve specific times, I think, to just be able to clear your mind and work on the creations, probably, because
yeah. And,
different mindset than just fulfilling the orders and replying to emails. That's a different. Different.
I know. No, in fact, when I work on creation, I just computer off, and also I try not to answer the phone or to look at the phone, and I really focus. I try to do little by little, so I take notes of what I do. So when I start from what I left the day before, I know where I am at, and I know what's the problem. I know. I have to focus little by little what's next step. So it's not always like the big invention of
no, but it's like it doesn't work that way, I think.
Yeah, it's like a
lot of work.
Less version. Why I like it, why I don't like it, what can I do to improve it, and thinking about little by little to go to the next step.
Do you also have to negotiate the raw materials and the price on it? Or is that done somewhere else?
No, you mean the negotiation or
the materials that go in it, the raw materials?
The price. It's just me. That I mean, I'm alone, so I'm also.
No, but when you want to buy your raw materials for your perfume, what you put in it, do you negotiate the price of that also?
No, well, I negotiate because my supplier is they treat it's not a distributor, they distill themselves, so they buy the natural elements and then they distill, and then when I work on a formula, I give a formula and then I calculate what's the final price, and then if the final price it's a little bit too expensive than what I can afford, I talk like, can we just find a compromise? I don't like to negotiate too much, I have to be honest. I try to be fair. I mean, I have worked in my past and like in book publishing and also in production, and I really hated when people were always wanted to negotiate and trying all the tricks to get down the price of 10% every time. It's like, come on, it's like life is not changing for just a little bit. So it's like, is it okay for me, for my budget? Fine. I'm not trying to get down the price, anything. Is it fine for my calculation? Okay, I'll buy it. So, of course, there are other, like with my printer, printing is a very complex thing, and we talk about like, look, I have to spend this, help me, okay? So and about on that price, we find a solution. But he's very helpful, and he knows that he can cut off, So it really depends.
Okay. It really depends. And if you're working on a creation, is it something that stays behind closed doors just with you, or do you like have friends or people that you ask their opinion and maybe change it according to their opinion? Is it like a teamwork, or is it really
no there are
under a curtain and then here it is? Or
as we cannot experiment on animals, I experiment on people.
Okay.
So, of course, I have my guinea pigs, so my very close friends that regularly I invite to try on them the creation. So, like, this new one has been already tested. They are still alive. So
okay. I can imagine that a lot of people who are following us would gladly volunteer to become one of your guinea pigs to try.
Well, if they were living in Amsterdam, I would be glad to invite them, because there's many perfume lovers in Amsterdam with whom I'm finally friend, and we swap perfumes, like we do, regular things like any perfume lover, and and I appreciate the comments. Of course, like, final decision is mine, but I like also to listen to, other point of views.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Maybe another question about some of the perfumes mention notes that maybe not everybody knows, but the people who know perfume a bit know them, but that are animalic elements like ambergris, civet, castoreum, which is also, kind of your signature because it makes them really leathery, animalic, sensual. Can you use these ingredients as natural, or do you have to find replacements for that?
So far, ambergris, I have to say that I bought in 2016 ambergris from a supplier which is trustful, and it's cruelty-free because you know how ambergris is a rejection of sperm whale, so there's no animal is put in danger. But exactly. It's a very particular material that is very different from the replacers. As a olfactory profile and also as an impact in the perfume. So I'm still considering how to use it. But when I mention ambergris in my perfumes, it's mostly Cephalox, which is a molecule that I adore. It's really, I find it mineralic, and I think some of these molecular fragrances used it. I don't remember, like Juliette Hazagan, I think, did something with Cephalox, because it's very nice also per se. Of course, it's very flat. I mean, all molecules are like, they are molecules. They don't have the richness of a natural ingredient, but still it's a very pleasant one. And well, regarding musk, of course, musk is basically forbidden, so you just can't use it. And so there are many, like the choice of synthetic musk is amazing. So you can have like the cleanest to the dirtiest musk. You have just the embarrass of choice. Castoreum and ambergris, and civet, they are legal. But and I have been using them so far. But I have been working very much in the last months because I wanted to replace them. With ethical replacing. And I have been working a lot because, of course, I was concerned about the animals from one side, but also about the olfactory profile of my creations and the performance of them. So I didn't just took the first replacer. I worked, in a way that it could fit and I could guarantee the same olfactory profile and the same intensity, because the reason why you basically use the animalic really to give like a three-dimensionality, intensity, depth, etc. And also they have a specific olfactory profile. And I think I did a good job with that. So you will hear about this soon. I wrote about this in my website. I didn't want to make a big advertisement about it because my brand is not about ethics and sustainability. It's about transmitting emotions and transmitting sensation. But I think that nowadays ethics, especially after last year, after Black Lives Matter, after so many things happened, it's like you can't avoid taking some positions or I don't want to make it politics, of course, but it's just that's my statement, like so in my website, without making big advertisement, because I don't like to use this topic to advertise my brand. So that's just you want to know what I think, that's in the website. And so I explained the little I could do about sustainability, what I think about some ethical matters, and also about the animalic materials. So I'm explaining this more extensively, and also this process of transformation of some of my perfumes. The actual version of Tiger is free of animalic ingredients.
I know.
It's already free of animalic ingredients, but I didn't advertise that because it's like you know,
yeah, but I think that's not the essence of
it's not the essence. People who are concerned about that, and they ask, if they search, they will find the information. So people who are vegan or who have they will find information. They can ask me, but it's not that I want to make advertisement about that.
Yeah, somebody is mentioning that the packaging has changed, and indeed it has changed. So there's no more cellophane around.
Yes, since basically end of last year, I stopped using cellophane, and I want to improve more the packaging, because now the packaging has this beautiful soft touch finishing that I really love. It is a little bit sensitive to pick up, so I will use another kind of protection, of plastic. It's like a lamination, which is which protects the object. Doesn't need the cellophane, but it's not as sensitive as soft touch as the actual one. And the box will be a little bit bigger, in a way that you will not trash it. Because the actual box is like, if you are a collector, of course, you keep it. Otherwise, you throw it away. I don't want it. And we need a strong packaging, because it's perfume, it's dangerous good. I ship all over the world. I can't use a cheap packaging. So I will use a box which you're going to reuse, because you just throw the filling away, which is paper recyclable, and you can use the box for use lipstick, whatever.
One question: if somebody comes into a perfume store or in your house and they want to try to find their perfume, what's the best advice that you can give for people to find their perfume that fits their signature? Well, maybe not their signature, but how do they have to go about it? How do they test? What do they have to read all the notes? Do they have to?
No, that's something that I would say about my line, or also any other perfumes. I think you just have to try. I don't like reading the notes anymore. I mean, I'm someone like, at the beginning I was more into the notes, but now it's like I want to feel something. It's like when you meet a person, and you can't predict if you will like the person, because it's blonde or dark, it has blue eyes or whatever. There are like the characteristic. It's about there's a poem that says it's really encapsulate what I also think about perfumes. It says it's not a poem, it's like a sentence, like, people will not remind what you said, or they won't remind what you did, they will remind how you made them feel. And it's the same about perfumes. It's not about the notes, it's not about how it's composed. It's just when you spray and you feel comfort, or even like you feel like enhanced, or calmed down, or like whatever, like feeling that makes you feel good, or whatever you're searching. That's the thing. And then and sometimes you have so much surprise, because sometimes you smell something new, and then after you go and read the notes, and they said, but I thought they didn't like this.
Like that, yes, exactly. That happens very often.
It happens always, all the time.
Good advice. Happens all the time. Very, very good advice. That's very good advice. And I think on that last advice that we will have to say goodbye for now. And it was lovely to talk to you again.
Also for me, guys.
Thanks for all the words.
Big hugs, and thanks for all the people who has been watching and interacting. Thanks so
everybody.
much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.